Shalom, shalom, shalom Israel. My bad, let me get this together. So, y'all see the topic, and y'all know what time it is. All praise to the Most High. We made it to another Sabbath. It's another segment of sound doctrine. We've had six marriage segments, or six segments in the marriage series. We went from, I believe it was the purpose of marriage. I don't think that was the name of it specifically, but the purpose of marriage. Then it was brothers and sisters, are you marriage material? Then it was a righteous marriage. Let me go to the thing. I want to make sure I get it to you guys the right way. Hold on. Because now it's bothering me. Where's the page? I want to make sure I give y'all the right information. Boom. Let's scroll him down. What was the first one? Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead and come up out of that, brother. Here it is. The righteous steps to marriage. That was the second video. The first video was understanding the marriage covenant, which was sex in the marriage covenant. That was number 2. Number 3, sisters, are you marriage material? Number 4, brothers, are you marriage material? Number 5, children are in heritage. And number 6 was the forbidden P word, polymarriage, polypimping. And then number 7 today. Oh, I thought it was 6 classes. It was 7. Number 7, understanding the law of divorce. So we tried to make sure that we hit every single aspect of marriage. Because one of the things that goes on in Israel is there is a terrible understanding of marriage. There is a terrible understanding of how marriages should be ran, the roles of the men and the women, what constitutes divorce, what constitutes marriage, when is a marriage annulled, all of this, like it's a free-for-all in Israel. And so tonight, we're going to give you the last piece. 7 classes, 7 being the number of completion. All praise to the Most High. That just happened in the spirit. It wasn't even intentional. Now, tonight is a very serious one because if I'm gonna be quite frank, a lot of you niggas is wicked. You try to put yourself away, brothers trying to put their wives away. We passing out bills of divorce like, we passing out candy in the church. Like, it's a problem. Some of these women changing husbands like they change drawers. Some of these men changing women like they change clothes. That's not what it's supposed to be going on in Israel. It's not supposed to happen like that, right? So we got to talk about it tonight because the way that some of these people be moving is just flat out wicked. Let's go to, and I'm gonna add 2 scriptures to this, but let's go to my first 2, Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. And I hope this upsets some of y'all, and the ones that it upset, the hit dog's gonna always holler. And I hope it causes you and pushes you to do better. So let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 4, and let's read verse 2.
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law.
The scriptures say that the Lord has given us good doctrine. The good doctrine is the Torah. The Torah has given us every single piece of instruction to make sure that we move as a righteous nation, a righteous community, right? I've given you good doctrine. Go to 2 Timothy. I've given you good doctrine. That good doctrine to make sure that the nation thrives is to keep the laws. Keep the laws sincerely. Not as much as you want to. Not I'm going to bend it a little bit because I want to do this. Not I'm going to justify my evil. But no. Don't forsake the Torah, period. But we run into this situation, 2 Timothy chapter 4. We run into this particular situation here, and it's unfortunately a very normal thing, right? 2 Timothy chapter 4. Let's read verse 3.
You said 2 and 4.
2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables.
So there will come a time, and that time is now, that individuals will decide, well, I know it says this, but I feel this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I want to do, open up this Bible and utilize it to justify what I want to do. And I'm going to even find people that are teaching the lusts that I want to do. And I'm going to rock over there. And I'm going to use this Bible to justify my evil. Perfect example. And if the shoe fits, wear it. Some of you niggas be out here annulling marriages that the scriptures tell you you can't do that. Oh, yeah, you know, since you and the brother ain't getting along and he don't want to be a husband to you, yeah, no, you free from that. Huh? Oh, yeah, you know, since you mad and y'all just can't seem to get it right. Oh, and he went to another congregation anyways. Y'all ain't together. Nigga, what? Oh, yeah, you know, So seeing as y'all got into it and you know, he didn't even ask your father anyway. So, you know, since he didn't ask your daddy, then it ain't really a marriage. You know, you can go remarry. That's not Bible. And when you do that, when you allow that, you are causing fornication in the community, the nation. Adultery in the community, in the nation, which continues to keep us in sin because you got elders out here that know all of these dark sayings and deep breakdowns that can be out there on the streets teaching, but niggas don't know the law. Basic understanding of the Torah. Certain congregations is flooded with adultery, passing women around, oh, you know, technically we're not married. We just, you know, gave each other some top. We just, you know, gave each other for some fellatio. But it's, you know, that's not marriage. We good. Huh? Well, technically I didn't go in unto her. Her mouth is her. If you went in unto her mouth, that's her. Stop playing. If she did that to another man married to you, that's adultery, right? Stop playing stupid. Oh, well, you know, since y'all don't want to be together, since she ain't listening, since y'all always fight, just write her a bill of. That's not in the Bible. The crazy part is when you look into the history, that was something that they was arguing about, and Christ came and cleared it up. And you niggas still think y'all know better than Christ. This is why it's going to be so difficult for us to get the kingdom, because so many of you guys want to be wicked. So many of you guys are justifying your evil. And like I always say, I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I can prove it in the scriptures. And as a brother, it is our job to speak out. And if you get mad, that's too bad. Because I fear the Most High before I fear you. Hebrews 13. So we're in a space where people right now are justifying their sins, justifying their way, justifying fornication, justifying adultery. Oh, well, you know, the sister didn't know no better. Well, damn, how many times did she not know no better? This her third husband in Israel. Dang, this brother is a serial fornicator, and you guys know. Why are you guys still allowing him in Israel? What are we doing? How many women he done put away? How many women done ran away from him? And then, oh, they married again? causing fornication in Israel. What are you doing? And if anybody feel away, the majority of y'all got my number. And the majority of y'all got my social media. So y'all can always feel free to hit me up. Because I don't ever shy away when it comes to the law. Niggas got to stop being wicked. Hebrews 13:4.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Go to Romans 7. Marriage is honorable above all, and a bed undefiled. A righteously done marriage. A woman who has not been put away for anything other than adultery. If she's with a man, that's a righteous marriage. It's honorable above all. But if sister been put away twice, 3 times, and you number 4, that's not an honorable marriage. If the brother done put away 2 or 3 of them, and now married, he's an adulterer. That's not an honorable marriage. What are you doing? What are we doing? Marriage is honorable above all. The bed is undefiled in righteousness. But adulterers and whoremongers, God will judge. It's a lot of that going on in Israel. It's a lot of that going on in Israel. And the justification of it is beyond me. Some of y'all need, this is why I said it not too long ago. I said, we as a nation, as America, let's just talk about America. If America brought back picking up them big old cinder blocks and cracking somebody over the head as capital punishment, a lot of you niggas would get it together. That stuff needs to be brought back because right now it's like, well, who's going to judge me? Who's going to do something?
I don't know. I think it might still be. They be like, man, just don't keep me on this side. I'm good.
You got some people, man, that's my boy, man. I'm going to just hide him, man. I know you ain't really mean it. Man. You want to know why we still in this condition? Because it's too many people not wanting to be righteous. Brothers done put away sisters 2 and 3 times. Now they feel like they've been used and mistreated in Israel. Now they leave. Now that's blood on your hands. You just lost a soul. I know. I've personally heard stories. Brother was like, yeah, you know, I married a sister and she got mad and she left. She went over to this particular congregation and I didn't tell her to leave. Like we wasn't getting along or whatever, but I wanted to try to figure out how to work it out. Next thing I know, I look up, she married to another brother. I had a conversation with the brother, and I'm like, hey, Akio, that's my rib. You dealing with her, da-da-da. Oh, shoot, I ain't, no. You know, yeah, no, we married, but you want her back? I'm sorry, what? I've heard that a couple of times, and I'm like, you want her back? Huh? Y'all, I keep telling people, you're playing with God. Y'all play with something safe. Stop playing with God. But this is the stuff that be going on in Israel. That's the problem that be going on in Israel. And it's unfortunate. So let's go to Romans chapter 7. Let's get this cleared up. Romans 7:1.
It's the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband so as long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. Right.
So the scriptures say, as long as you live, you are married to your husband. That's it, and that's all. As long as they ain't dead, that is your head. That is your husband. Point blank, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ain't no fighting about it. There ain't no, oh, I'm mad. And we're going to deal with one of these scriptures that some of these niggas like to go to in the book of Ecclesiastes. We're going to break that down too. People like to go to Ecclesiastes and say, see, the scriptures, they ain't just talking about fornication. We're going to go to that too, because what happens is y'all like to misrepresent scriptures We talk about precept upon precept all the time, except when it comes to things that we want to justify ourselves in doing. So we're gonna let's go to Deuteronomy 24. Let's get into it. The law of divorce. Let me do this. Deuteronomy 24. And I had a PowerPoint, but unfortunately it's the laptop for us to show on the screen is acting up. So I'm going to just read everything off for you guys. And Lord's will, the next go around, I'll be able to actually put the PowerPoint up on the screen, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 1. Read it when you got it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 4 and verse 1. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house.
And send her out of his house. So it says, when a man hath taken a wife, and he's married that woman, and it comes to pass that she, whatever reason, well, it's not whatever reason, we're going to get into that in a minute, but she finds no favor in his eyes because of an uncleanness, then he can write her a bill of divorce. I want to read this in a different translation. It's the OJB, which is the Orthodox Jewish Bible. It says, when an Aish, which is a man, hath taken an Aisha, which is a woman, and married her, and it come to pass that he find no chen, which is favor, in his eyes, because he hath found some ervat davar, matter of immorality in her, then let him write her a sefer keretut, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Right? Now, here was the argument that was going on in the time around right before Christ, right after Christ had hit the scene, right? It says, right before Christ, It says, in the 1st century BC, Divorce in Jewish Law by S.B. Gorowitz. Again, I wish I could have it up here for you guys, but I'm going to read everything for you. Thus, in the 1st century BC, this is right before Christ was born, the school of Hillel and Shammai are giving radically different interpretations. So there were two schools of thoughts on how and when you can divorce, right? It says the school of Shammai applied the strict literal interpretation of the Bible to legal cases. So it held that a man could not divorce his wife unless she was found guilty of gross immorality. This doctrine, completely at variance with the customary right of the husband, was based on the school's interpretation of the term ervath davar, which is some uncleanness. And it was claimed that the literal meaning being nakedness of a matter, it signified gross immorality, and therefore the biblical law recognized this as the only legitimate ground for divorce. The Hillel school, which represented the liberal Salakia, which represented the liberal interpreters of biblical law, held that a husband need not assign any reason for divorce and could, if he wishes, divorce his wife for spoiling his food. This school interpreted the Deuteronomic term, some uncleanness, to mean anything offensive to the husband. This view was followed a century later by Rabbi Akiba, and was extended by him to include even the case where the husband found another woman more beautiful than his wife. For it is written, if she find no favor in his eyes. These were the two schools of thought. One was the literal term uncleanness, gross immorality, something heinous. The other one was like, hell, if she burned my food, I could divorce her. If she raised her voice at me, I could divorce her. This is why Israel is so screwed up now, because there's a ton of Israelites that take the thought process of, if there's any little thing that I don't like about my wife, I can divorce her. But we're going to get into understanding what that is. Sir Irv.
Mindset too. You could just divorce and get you another wife. Pastors do that all the time.
Yeah.
Married 3 or 4 women.
That's more than a Christian. That is the lawless mentality. That is the unbiblical mentality, right?
Christians don't have to keep them.
Well, yeah, depending on the Christian you talk to, there's certain laws that they pick and choose they want to keep. So here's the word. I think you pulled it up on yours too. Irva or irawa. This is the word for uncleanness. The biblical usage is nakedness, nudity, shame, pudenda, which is the genitals. Nakedness of a thing, indecency, improper behavior. It also can mean exposed or undefended. This is H6172. Irva or irawa. Nudity, literally, especially the pudenda, which is your private area, or figuratively, a disgrace or a blemish or nakedness. That is the definition of that word uncleanness in Deuteronomy 24. Now, remember, the 2 schools of thoughts was, she burned my food, I could divorce her. Ooh, I see another woman that looks better than her, I can divorce her and go get that woman. There are certain brothers in Israel that, well, I don't practice multiple wives. Yeah, but you married her and now you want her. You can't just get rid of her because you want her. Nigga, you got to take her too and them as both your wives. There's been situations in Israel where brothers have, well, I really don't do the multiple wives thing, but you want this other sister. And so you about to do wrong by her to try to get her. That is evil. That is, you are now going to be an adulterer according to Christ because of what you're doing. So there were 2 schools of thoughts. One was it had to be something crazy heinous. The other one was, I just felt like it, so I could. Let's see the stance that Christ took. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19. We'll go to the book of Matthew chapter 19. We're going to read chapter 19, verse 8. We're going to start at verse, we'll start at verse 3. Let's start all the way up at verse 3. Let's get some context.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, saying unto him, it is lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause.
It says, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife just, for whatever reason? Now, remember, it said the Pharisees came unto him to do what?
Tempting him.
No, you good. Tempting him. Let me see how well this cat know the. He's the Messiah. He's so prolific. We about to catch him up. We about to cut him. So they said they came to him tempting him. Well, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for any reason? Because some people teach it is. You're supposed to be the Messiah, right? You tell us. Read.
And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife. And they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh.
So just FYI, this ain't talk about no people that try to run it. This be like, see, even Christ was talking about a man can only have one wife. It's not what the hell they're talking about. They're talking about the law of divorce. Because in order to be divorced, you have to have at least one wife. Every man doesn't have multiple wives. So Christ's point was, the Pharisees came and said, we could put away our wives for anything, right? Christ said, have you not read since Genesis? God made them male and female, and when they get married, they are now one flesh. And it says, what God has brought together. I'm sorry, read on. I don't even think we got there yet. Read on.
God. Wherefore there are no more twain, but one flesh.
Read.
What therefore the Most High has joined together, let no man put asunder.
It says, hold on. It says, whatever God has brought together, because a marriage is supposed to be a covenant before you and your spouse and God. What God has brought together, let no man put asunder, meaning let nobody separate. You can't put a wedge between what God has brought together. So they're asking, well, can't I could divorce for whatever reason. Nigga, how you going to separate something divine? That's the point Christ is making. This is divine. If God said y'all one flesh now, once y'all lay down, y'all become one. Can't nobody separate that. Now watch what the Pharisees do. Read.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He
So
said,
hold it. Why? So the Pharisees now double down and say, well, if we can't put them away for any reason, why did Moses tell us we could? Or excuse me, let me clarify. If we can't put them away for any reason, why did Moses say we can divorce them? Now notice, read that verse again. I'm going to show you something.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement? And
So it never said, why did Moses say we could divorce them for any reason? That's not what was said. They said, can we divorce a woman for any reason? Christ said, you can't divorce a woman. You can't divorce your wife because that is a covenant between you, her, and God. And if he brought that together, nobody can separate it. Well, if nobody could separate the divorce, separate the marriage, why did Moses say we could divorce? Read.
He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
It said, Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, the evil of your heart, the wicked things that you guys were devising in your heart, Moses did what? In verse 8.
I got you. Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so.
It said to suffer is epitrepo, which is to give over, to permit, or to let. But the word suffer, it wasn't like something that he willfully was allowing. He's like, man, because of how these things are moving, I have to implement this. Why? Because once a woman is with a man and she deals with another man, she's defiled. That man that she was with can no longer be with her because now the marriages are being defiled. So he said, you have to let her go because your marriage is no longer holy, it's defiled. It needs to be separated. So because of the hardness of your heart for the wickedness y'all was doing, Moses had to place this clause in there. When you guys are married, in the event an uncleanness befalls her, meaning she exposes herself, meaning she's dealing immorally with another man knowing she's married. They may not have had sex, but they was making out. But they was sending text messages. But they was sending pictures. But they was having phone, They was doing all of it. He was feeling on her and touching on her, but, they never actually laid down together. That marriage is defiled. That possession has been defiled by another individual. So because of that uncleanness, or she decides, I want to be a witch. I want to get into witchcraft. I want to start worshiping other idols. Scriptures call that spiritual fornication, and we'll get that in a little bit. Because of some heinous, shameful act, I have to place in this clause because the marriage is now defiled. The marriage bed is now defiled when these things happen. Y'all can't no longer stay together. It's no longer holy. That's why Moses suffered you to do that. But watch what Christ say. Watch this.
And I say unto you, whosoever.
So Christ said, now, let me clean something up for you. The reason why Moses allowed this, because you niggas was being wicked. But let me clear something up for you. It wasn't for any cause. It wasn't because you felt like it. It wasn't because you wanted to. It wasn't like Moses put that in there because he said, yeah, y'all go ahead willy-nilly divorce one another. He said, let me clear something up for you, how it's supposed to go. And he even clears up the uncleanness part. Because remember they said, well, can we divorce for any reason? Christ said, no. They said, well, why did Moses say we could divorce? He said, because you niggas is wicked. And you guys made the marriage bed undefiled, so Moses had to place that clause in there. Now, let me clear something up for you since you're asking me a very specific question. Can you divorce for any reason? Watch what Christ says.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
Except it be for what?
Fornication.
Come on.
And shall marry another. Committeth adultery.
Committeth adultery. Read it again.
And shall
read it from the top. Salaki.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
Except it be for fornication. Again, physical fornication or spiritual fornication. Anybody that tells you anything other than that is wicked as hell, and they are wrong, and they're going to lead you to be destroyed by the Most High. We coming straight out of the scriptures. You don't find anywhere in the scriptures where an individual was able to put away his wife just because she didn't know how to cook, or just because he wanted to get another wife, or just because she be talking back. Nobody divorced their wives because of that, because they understood. And Christ came and gave you the clear understanding. You can't divorce and remarry, or you're an adulterer. You can't divorce, and if you divorce, she can't remarry because now she's an adulteress and it's your fault and there's blood on your hands. Out of Christ's own mouth. Now, I've heard people go to the extent to say, well, I don't really think this conversation happened. I'm like, well, in the oldest manuscripts, it showed that it did happen. Well, I just feel like they inserted that. Well, just say you don't believe in the Bible. At that point, you just don't believe in the Bible. Let's be real. The moment you say Christ sinned, or the moment you say, I know it's in the oldest manuscripts, but I'm going to say it wasn't that, well, at that point you don't believe in the Bible. Let's keep it a bean. So Matthew 19 said, if it wasn't for fornication, you can't divorce. Now, let's look up the word fornication. The word fornication, G4202. G as in gamma, 4202. You can pull the one right there in Matthew 19.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I got to do it. I'm kind of slow right here, bro.
I was hoping you had it so I could be like, you could double check me. Go ahead, hit it.
I got it right here.
What you got? Yep, G4202, right? Okay, perfect. That word is porneia. Porneia.
Is that where porn came from?
Yeah, that's exactly where porn came from, which is crazy because people, Pornhub, pornography. Porn literally means fornicate. And you guys be happy about fornicating.
Ignorance is bliss, man.
You right. Ignorance is bliss. A lot of people didn't know. The pornography, that literally, the origin is fornication. Porneia is the word for fornication. Let's get the definition. Illicit sexual intercourse. Let me do something. I should have did this earlier. Let me see if I can do it real quick. You can get it off the Bible app, Blue Letter Bible. I have an app called Accordance. I actually have my physical concordance, which is a BDAG. It's a Bowers Greek lexicon, which is actually one of the more respected, even more respected than Blue Letter and the Strongs. So illicit, forbidden by law, rules, or custom. So where it says illicit sexual intercourse is forbidden sexual intercourse. Adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. Sexual intercourse with close relatives, Leviticus 18. Sexual intercourse with a divorced woman or man, unlawfully divorced. So like Christ had expressed. Metaphor of worship of God. So fornication means it can be metaphorical fornication. The defilement through idolatry as incurred by eating sacrifices offered to idols. Harlotry, including adultery and incest, or idolatry. So, except it be for some forbidden sexual intercourse, you cannot divorce. I done heard a number of stories. The sister was mad and upset about their marriage. Well, just write me a bill of divorce. You know what? I'm tired of your ass anyways. Here, I'm going to email it to you. Here, boom. Check your Gmail. That is your bill of divorce. Brothers ain't had no pen to write with, so wrote it out on crayon with a crayon and a napkin. Boom, your bill of divorce. What? But this is real. Scriptures say, except it be for fornication. Here's the BDAG, right? Let me get the actual, because I always forget the full name of it. BDAG lexicon. It's the Bowers It says Bowers Lexicon, but all the letters are the last names of the individuals who contributed to it. But it's the Bowers Greek concordance, right? So the BDAG concordance, or the BDAG lexicon definition for porneia, is prostitution, unchastity, fornication of every kind of unlawful sexual intercourse, of the sexual unfaithfulness of a married woman, in accordance with an Old Testament symbol, apostasy from God, of idolatry. Right? Let me do this. Apostasy, the act of rejecting Christ by someone who was previously a believer. So an individual who turns from God, that is a form of fornication. An individual who turns from her husband, that is a form of fornication. Now, which one are we on? This one. Unchastity. I went and got the actual definition of unchastity. Unchastity means any act violating marital fidelity or faithfulness, even without sexual intercourse. If you violate the marriage as a woman being the possession of a man, if you violate that, you have committed unchastity, which is a form of fornication. So again, you ain't had to pull up. He ain't had to fold you like a lawn chair when your husband was at work. That ain't what it had. Y'all texting each other certain things, certain pictures, certain videos. Y'all speaking to each other inappropriately. Y'all do meet up and y'all feeling on each other, and all of that is fornication. And a man can put you away for that. If it wasn't none of that, you can't put that woman away. I don't care how mad she makes you. And I don't care how you feel about it. So any unchastity, the definition of unchastity is any act violating marital fidelity or marital faithfulness, even if y'all don't lay down and he goes into you, even if y'all don't actually physically have sex. Now, the definition for chaste, agnos is the Greek word, pure, holy, originally an attribute to the divinity and everything belonging to it, of Christ or of God, innocent, chaste, pure. The actual definition, free from obscenity, which is offense or disgust as pertaining to sexual matters as measured by the standard of morality and decency, which is what? Our Torah. So free from obscenity, free from offense or disgust as pertaining to sexual matters in the Torah. So making sure that your sex life, so to speak, is in accordance to the Torah. Celibate and not engaging in sexual relations. That's what chaste means. Now, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14. So, the uncleanness, there was an argument that went on at one point. There were some people that said, oh, uncleanness is anything we say it is. Another group of people who held stronger and stricter to the law said that is not what it is. It has to be something crazy, heinous, and disturbing and just wicked, sexually deviant, or spiritually deviant. Christ came and cleaned it up. If it ain't for fornication, y'all can't divorce. We just laid out what fornication was. Anything unchaste. Anything, any matter of sexual, anything that is not to your husband. That's what it is. But then we have this side of fornication. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and verse 11. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men,
Right.
and a snare to the feet of the unwise.
Right.
For the devising of idols
So for the devising, the creating of idols. Read.
was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Was the beginning of what?
Spiritual fornication.
Spiritual fornication. Read.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
So when we talk about spiritual fornication, you got a rib, and y'all keeping the laws. Hey, in this house, this is how we move. And she like, nah, I'm finna cook on the Sabbath. I don't know. It's Saturday to me. I'm cooking. Them kids ain't gotta do that. Y'all, I'll make y'all crawfish broil. Y'all want some? I'm about to make me some crab leg. You want some? Passover, throwing out my bread. Please, I'm about to make me a sandwich. You want a sandwich? Y'all, the babies, y'all want some sandwiches? When you got that situation going on, or if you in the truth and you got a rib that's a Catholic or a bruja, a witch, that's spiritual fornication. Let's talk about it. Go to Ecclesiasticus 25, because this is a scripture that people like to use. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 25. I think it's Sirach 25 and 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad.
To gad abroad, read.
If she go not out, and if she go not as thou wouldest have her,
Come on.
cut her off from thy flesh.
Come on.
And give her a bill of divorce.
Read.
And let her go.
So niggas will go to this and be like, yeah, she ain't listening to me, so I'm just finna let her go. Y'all arguing about something, and she fighting back with you. She combating on something. She's in the truth. She keeping the laws, but she just don't agree with something, so y'all fighting back and forth. And man, you know what the scripture say, if she a headache and she ain't listening and ain't trying to follow my lead, nigga, I'm about to divorce her. And I know niggas that teach this. And I tell them, you wicked as hell. You can't, that's not what that's saying. That's not what that's saying. Watch this. Let's go to the prologue of Ecclesiasticus. I'm going to read something in there. The prologue, and y'all can read it from the top. I put it in here, so I'm not looking at my Bible. It's in my PowerPoint. The prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach. Whereas many, is that the very top? Whereas many and great, yes. Yep, down there. Whereas many and great things have been delivered unto us by the law and the prophets, and by others that have followed their steps, for the which things Israel ought to be commended for learning and wisdom, and whereof not only the readers must needs be skillful themselves, but also they that desire to learn to be able to profit from them which are without, both by speaking and writing. My grandfather, Jesus, not the same, not Yahushai. Jesus was a very common name. It just is the Greek version of Joshua. My grandfather, Jesus, when he had given himself to the reading of the law, so his grandfather was really big on trying to understand Torah. He gave himself to the reading and understanding of Torah and the prophets and the other books of our fathers. So he was heavy in this. Had gotten therein good judgment. He picked up a lot of wisdom from Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. He said when he gotten good judgment and understanding, he was drawn on also himself to write something pertaining to learning and wisdom. That's what the book of Sirach is, the book of wisdom, period. And, to the intent, this is the important part, listen, to the intent that those which are desirous to learn and are addicted to these things, what things? What he was addicted to, the writings of the forefathers, the laws, and the prophets, might profit much more in living according to the law. So what Jesus, the son of Sirach, wrote was a clearer understanding of how you can utilize divorce. He didn't add to the law. He gave a clearer understanding. If she ain't moving the way you want her to move, you can divorce her. But what does that look like? That ain't because y'all arguing and you can't, she don't want to eat what you want her to eat, or she don't want to, be a stay-at-home, but she rather go to work. And that's not what it's talking about. That's not what it's talking about. If she don't want to go the way you would have her, that looks more like we keeping the Torah. We don't cook on the Sabbath. She like, I'm finna cook. We can't have them idols in the house. I'm finna put this cross up. I'm finna put white Jesus up. If she is doing the spiritual fornication, she got to go. Not because y'all arguing, not because y'all don't get along, not because you raise her voice, she raise her voice back, and y'all be having a scream fest and one. That's not what it's talking about. Go to 2 Samuel, I believe it is. Let me see something. Did I put it in here? No, I didn't. 2 Samuel. (23:3). This is the type of man, when you rule in your house, when you're a ruler, this is the type of individual you should be. 2 Samuel 23:3.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23 and verse 3. The Most High of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me, he that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of the Most High.
Must be just, ruling in the what?
In the fear of the Most High.
So if you moving in righteousness, you going to move in the fear of the Most High. If you got a rib that's like, nah, my family Muslim. Nah, my family Catholic. Nah, I'm putting up the saints. Nah, we praying to the saints.
Christmas popping this
Nah, Christmas popping this year. I don't know what you talking about. Who ain't celebrating New Year's? I guarantee you January 1st we finna have this party and popping the cider. I guarantee it. That's not going the way you would have her. That is when it's like, yeah, no, you got to go. That's what that's talking about. That's not talking about because we got into it and she don't be listening and we be having our back and forths. Because the scriptures tell you this. 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. We're going to get there. We're going to get there in a minute. Oh, no. This is how the brother's supposed to deal with situations.
This is 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life.
So the scriptures tell you, you are supposed to deal with your wife according to wisdom or according to knowledge. She going to get out of pocket because she's the weaker vessel. Because y'all arguing, you don't get the green light. Oh, man, she a headache, man. I'm about to divorce her. No, you can't do that. And if you teaching brothers that you can do that, you wicked as hell. If you teaching brothers it's okay to do that, you the devil. And the Most High is going to hold you accountable. When we talking about going the way, go to Deuteronomy 6. When you talk about not going the way that you would have her, this is what it's talking about. Deuteronomy chapter 6, start at verse 6.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 6.
Come on.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto the children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by thy way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Verse 8.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and thou shalt be as frontlets between thine eyes.
Read.
And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates.
That's what this is talking about. If she don't go the way that you would have her, which is according to the Torah that you teach in your house, yeah, she got to go. Cut her off from your flesh. Because can two walk together except they be agreed?
No.
And the way that we should be walking is in the way and the light of righteousness. That's it. You don't get to divorce her because she's giving you a headache. You don't get to divorce her because y'all keep arguing and because you mad at her. You can't do that, and you niggas that teach it, y'all wicked. I done had back and forth with brothers. I would not teach my men that. Well, you wicked. Oh, I had a similar situation, and my leadership told me I had to do da 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 da. I said I couldn't do it. You wicked. You're wicked. You are the devil. Because the Bible does not permit that. You don't get to just put them away because y'all fighting and she a headache. You shouldn't have chose her because a lot of times, 90% of the time, these sisters show you exactly who they are. And your little wee-wee be so hard and so hot that you want to be like, well, you know, it's okay. I'm gonna get her in order once she's mine. Nigga, she wasn't ready to be married. She wasn't a wife and you decided to lay with her because your little wee-wee was hard and you was thinking with the wrong head. And now you got to deal with the repercussions. Well, let's just repent. The Most High will forgive us. What? What? Bro, you wicked as hell. Wicked as all get out. That's not how you do things. That's not how you move. That's not Bible. That's not scriptures. Well, you know, I can put you away for anything. No, you can't. The Bible does not allow that. The Bible does not permit that. And if you teaching that, you need your teeth knocked out. Only if she commits fornication. Like you said, spiritual fornication and physical fornication. If she decides she want to be a bruja, she want to start doing seances, she want to be a witch, she want to start worshiping the saints, yeah, she got to go. Cut her off from your flesh. That's spiritual fornication, also known as apostasy or rejecting God. You do that, yeah, you got to go. Watch this. And this is the beauty of the scriptures. Because the stuff that I'm saying, it was already said in the script. Go to 1 Corinthians, what you was just talking about. Go to 1 Corinthians. The beauty of the scriptures is the scriptures say this. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Verse 15.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 15. But if the unbelieving depart.
So when you read above, it says, if you have an unbelieving spouse that is pleased to dwell, don't leave them. Because they're trying to go twain with you, even though they may not understand, and you can save their soul. But then it goes on to say, but if they don't believe and they leave you and they walk out, if the unbelieving depart, read.
If the unbelieving depart, let him depart.
Let him depart. Why?
A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases.
If an individual decides I'm walking away from the faith and I'm not dealing with this. Now notice, this is very specific. This is what you would call spiritual fornication. If an individual commits idolatry, if an individual say, man, F you and that Bible stuff that you own, and he walk away, it's circumstantial. It's definitely circumstantial. But overall, for the most part, if a brother does that, you free. If a sister does that, you free. Again, it's circumstantial in wisdom and understanding, because what some sisters would do is like, I'm going to go date a dude in the world and try to bring him into the truth. Y'all lay down together. It didn't work out. Well, if the unbelieving depart, and then you do it again. Well, if the unbelieving depart, and then, girl, you a hoe. Sit down somewhere. Go find you a man that's in this walk for real and stop playing. So it's circumstantial. And if you're a part of a certain body and you got righteous leadership, it would behoove you to take heed to them first. If the unbelieving depart, let them depart, right? Now, go back to Deuteronomy 24. It says, we're going to read it. Deuteronomy 24, we're going to read 1 through 3. We don't get the full understanding tonight. And then we're going to get to one part that I know that's going to get under a lot of y'all's skin, but I mean, it's what thus saith the Lord.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, Say, if I tell you the truth, I'll just become your enemy.
It might become your enemy. You feel me?
20. We said 24.
24 and start at verse 1. We're going to read down to 3.
Or the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some uncleanness in her.
He found an uncleanness in her. Before we got married, I didn't know. I remember it was a time. Deacon Kahan is one of the funniest brothers. He be giving like street wisdom, right? He was like, yeah, you know, if I ever was dating a sister and she was in another state, I want to go to her hometown. I want to go out there with her and be outside with her. So that way, you know, how do brothers like, how many people know you out here? So that way I know, like, oh no, she for the streets. I'm way out here. I didn't know no better. You done been around the block. I'm good on you. So imagine you marry a sister and you didn't know about this uncleanness. Oh, you was talking to such as I had a conversation with another brother not too long ago. I said, this is why we don't that's y'all married. And anything outside of that, you in adultery. I said, because imagine I come into the congregation or a camp as the new brother, and Sister Abigail, or nah, I ain't even gonna do that to her. Sister Athaliah, right? Or Sister Jezebel. She done courted like 4 or 5 different brothers. Some brothers teach, well, you know, if y'all was courting and had intention to marry and y'all was giving each other head and doing all of that and it just don't work out, then, you know, it just don't work out. It's no harm, no foul. Imagine new brother comes in. I'm feeling that sister. Oh, she feeling me too. We get married. And somewhere down the road, I don't know, I get into an argument with one of the brothers. And they're like, yeah, but that's why your rib, she was sucking off. Boom, 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 boom. Huh? What you mean? Oh, yeah, before you got here, she courted these brothers, and they did boom, 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 because they all talked about, ask her.
Man, he should get beat up right
now. You. But people teach that this, I would be livid if I came into a body and I'm talking to a sister, I'm getting to know her, and ain't nobody told me, oh, yeah, she done courted all them brothers. And they done did boom, boom, boom. I remember in high school. In high school, I was talking to a girl. I just transferred from Narbonne to Carson. I was talking to a girl, and they came to find out later down the road, because, oh, you talking to such and such? I said, yeah. They waited some time, and, like, I got cool with everybody. They was like, hey, you know, such and such, she like this. And I was like, yeah. So why you ain't tell me sooner? He was like, I know you like that, bro. I said, you niggas is foul. Y'all foul. But I had found it out before they told me, but he came to me because we was cool now. I'm hot. Like, what? It's the same thing.
All she do is pull up in the hood, and you be like, he don't even.
Exactly. Now, imagine that in the truth. Imagine you. These are the things that I be telling. Imagine you got a daughter and you find out, oh, she courted 5 brothers and she did boom, boom, boom with all these brothers. Think about these. So when you teach her stuff like that, you wicked as hell. So the scriptures say, let's say a man finds a sister. He didn't know she was with Nathaniel and Kazak and Danya Allah and what's one of them other common is Yehuda, Big Judah. Like she didn't. He was with all of these people, and he finds out after he marries her. He's like, yo, oh no, divorce. That's clean. Because he found an uncleanness in you. He didn't know you was thotting before y'all got married. You was out here just searching for love, doing whatever it took. I'm good on you. His hands is clean. Now, if he did know and didn't care and married you, then got mad and said, well, you was hoeing anyway, so you can't divorce her now because you knew. You didn't find that uncleanness. You already knew it was there. You still decided to deal with that. You can't do that. But it says, when someone has taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that he finds no favor because he found some uncleanness, let him write a bill of divorce and give it in her hand and send her out the house. I can divorce you. Now watch this. Read on.
And when
Verse 2.
And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and is another man's wife.
So now, if she leaves now and decides to go to the man that she was dealing with or whatever the case was, she can go be that person's wife, right? Read on.
And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand.
So if it come out like, oh, the brother she was, had the uncleanness with and was dealing with, if he write her a bill of divorce, read.
And send her out of his house. Or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again. A brother can't
be like, man, I was hasty. I do miss you. I like that thing that you used to do. I like the time that we used to spend. No, you can't marry her again. Read on. Start at verse 3 at the top.
And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and giveth it in her hand and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife.
Read.
After that, she is defiled.
She's defiled. She done laid with this other person that you sent her away for. Read.
For that is abomination before the Lord.
That is an abomination. Stop sharing these women. Read.
And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance.
You can't be passing these sisters around. There's congregations where sister done been with 3 and 4 brothers, then finally marry one. Marry one. She was already married, but the one that they was like, oh yeah, y'all can stay together. That you defile the land when you do stuff like that. That's wicked. That's evil. And we know the Bible don't contradict itself, so I'm going to show you something. Well, see, it's if they put her away, then it's clean. No. If she gets put away for the uncleanness, she can go back to the dude that this all transpired with. Because watch this. Go to Jeremiah. Let's get some context. Jeremiah chapter 3. And verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
Shall not it be greatly polluted? Read.
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
So if it's a situation where the sister was dealing with somebody, and the brother was like, yo, I found this out, you got to go, I can't double back and deal with you. You was put away for a reason. The land is now polluted.
We done played the harlot.
Right, but
Most High took us, that's cool that he gave us
so the Most High was making a point. He said the law is this, but because my promise was to you, I am taking you back. Go to Malachi, chapter 2. Malachi chapter 2, and let me see. I want to get to the point. So I want to read the whole thing. Let's start at verse 10. Malachi 2 and 10.
Book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 10. Have we not all one Father? Had not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenant of our fathers?
Read.
Judah have dealt treacherously, and abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah have profaned the holiness of the Most High, which he loved, and hath married the daughters of a strange God.
You polluted the Lord and married strange gods. Read.
The Lord will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto the Lord of hosts.
Read.
And this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering any more, or receiveth it with good will at your hand.
So because Israel decided to do wicked, the Lord was like, I'm done with you, right? Verse 16.
For the Lord God of Israel said, that he hateth putting away.
The Most High said he hates putting away. Read.
For one covereth violence with his garment, said the Lord of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
Putting away is dealing treacherously. Read.
You have wearied the Lord with your words. Yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? When ye say, every one that doeth evil is good in the sight of the Lord.
Come on.
And ye delighteth in them, or where is the Most High of judgment?
Where is God's judgment? It says, ye have wearied the Lord with your words. The Most High is tired of your nonsense. Yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? What you mean we made him tired? What we do? When you say everyone that does evil is good, a man putting away his wife is evil, but y'all like, no, that's cool, it's cool. You all right, it's good. You done wearied the Lord. You done pissed him off. And he delighteth in them. Oh, Salakia, everyone that doeth evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delighteth in them. God don't delight in people doing evil. God don't delight in your putting away. Christ said that earlier. Or where is the God of judgment? Oh, Most High ain't there. He ain't tripping. He ain't sweating it. You wearied the Lord because you lying on God. Habakkuk 1:4 talks about because judgment no longer go forth, the law is slacked. That's what's going on. So when you dealing with this judgment was placed out there because he knew Israel was going to do some wickedness. And if a woman has defiled her marriage bed, they can no longer be together because that's supposed to be something that's holy. But guess what? Y'all decide I want to defile something that's holy. So y'all can't stay together no more because it destroys the holy bed. So that's why the law of divorce was even put there. For when you committed fornication, not because you felt like it. We read earlier, these devils was teaching, well, if I want another wife, I can just divorce this one. No, if you want another wife, you go get you another wife. The Torah talks about that. If you get you another wife, you just need to make sure that her raiment, her shelter, and her duties of marriage are not diminished. Do what you're supposed to do with your first wife. Ain't nothing wrong with you getting a second wife. But people don't want to take on that responsibility. And they're like, well, I like this one more. And I'm tired of her, so I'm going to divorce her. You niggas are wicked. You are the devil. Now, so the law of divorce is for fornication, not because you feel like it. If you teach anything other than that, you need to get your teeth kicked out because you wicked as hell. Now, here's the part that I'm going to upset some people, specifically sisters, on. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Because I remember this question was asked to me a while ago. And I examined the scriptures and I floated through the scriptures and I was like, no. According to the Bible, no. The sister was like, well, if my husband is wicked or my husband does wrong, not if he leave me, but if he's just being wicked or if he commits fornication, well, I'm going to divorce him. Let's read the scriptures. 1 Corinthians 7 and 10. We're going to read 10 and 11.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband.
It says, and I command this. Well, not me. The Lord commands this. Don't let a woman leave her husband or depart from her husband. Read.
But if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
But if she does depart, she can't go marry somebody else. It says let her remain unmarried. But what happens?
Or be reconciled to her husband.
Not go marry somebody else. Be reconciled to your husband. So, as a woman, if it's a situation where you leave your husband or separate from your husband, you can separate, fine. But you can't remarry. Why is that important? Because a woman can separate, but they can't remarry. But a woman can't put away her husband. A woman can't divorce her husband. And women, I know sisters be like, what? That don't make no sense. Oh, that's wicked. All that. No, listen. You as a sister can depart and stay separate from your husband, but you are not allowed to remarry again. But you cannot divorce your husband under Any circumstance. What if he commits fornication? Any circumstance. There is nothing in the scriptures that green lights you to do that. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to give you an example real quick. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 12. We're going to read 11 through 14. 2 Samuel chapter 12.
Book of 2 Samuel, chapter 12, and verse 11. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them to thy neighbor. And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the son,
because
of this son.
Because of the fornication that David committed, the Lord said, you secretly tried to hide and do evil. I'm going to embarrass you in front of everyone. Right? Read on.
For thou didst secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Read.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
The child shall surely die. Now here's the thing. After David committed his fornication, David still had his wives. As you read later down the road, you see that his wives were still around, right? Even after his fornication. Because then he was on the run and all of these other things were happening. He was still married. Then Absalom violated his wives. So even after David committed fornication, his wives couldn't leave, and there's a reason for that. Go to Ecclesiasticus 36. Sirach chapter 36. Read verse 24.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 36 and verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
Beginneth a what?
A possession.
Read.
A help like unto himself. A pillar of rest.
And a pillar of rest. She is your possession. You screw up, that don't now mean she's not your possession. However, if she decides I'm separating from you, she just can't remarry. She can separate. She just can't remarry. And I remember I had a conversation with sisters, and they felt the way about this. I'm like, look, the scriptures say what they say. If I had an example in the scriptures where a woman was allowed to divorce her husband, just one example, you would have a leg to stand on. But we see through the scriptures that never happened. And even when you read about divorcing and putting away, you never read about the woman puts away her husband. That's never said. The husband puts away his wife. That's what divorce is. The man puts away his wife only for fornication, not for any other reason. So this goes for them sisters that be like, well, my husband, he did this, or he went and got another wife and I didn't like it, so I'm leaving. You can't do that. I mean, if you want to separate, but if you separate against his will, then you still violate God, because the divine order is your husband is above you. And if he expresses he doesn't want you to do something and you decide I'm going to do it anyways, you've now violated the divine order and disrespected God. If he fornicates or whatever the case is, you say, I want to separate. Okay, fine. But you can't now go and get married. We didn't have a situation. A couple had a situation like that. Sister was trying her hardest to get out of her marriage. And the brother did what she believed was fornication or adultery, she believes. She goes, oh, that's my out. I can go. The law does not say that. The law does not give you the green light to do that. Then she goes and she commits adultery, laying with somebody else. The law does not say that. My beloved sisters, this is why I be pressing the issue on. Know who you are marrying. Take your time. Don't be so hot in the pants that you decide the first brother that can give you a decent breakdown and call you and inbox you saying Shalom princess and talks about how he loved the Most High God and he read his Bible every day. Don't let him jump into bed with you just because of these few things. The criteria be so low. Then y'all be together. Yashmai was telling me a story. He said he was talking to his sister. She was saying, oh, I'm dealing with a brother, blah, 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 blah. Yash was like, all right, well, take your time. You don't want to be in a situation where, y'all lay down together. Once y'all lay down, y'all stuck. So take your time so you know if that's who you really want to be with. They didn't listen. They didn't take their time. Weeks or months later, the sister comes back, man, Ak, you were so right. I wish I would have listened. We've been together, but we're really not happy together, and we just want out. What can we do? Yashimai's words were, you stuck like a truck. You know what happened? They unlawfully divorced. So now if she ends up with another brother, she's an adulteress. If he ends up with another sister, he's an adulterer. Take your time. So this don't have, if he unlawfully divorced a woman, he now becomes an adulterer. So take your time. Sisters especially, y'all got one shot. Don't be so quick to jump in the first brother that jump in your DMs talking about how pretty you are and how he wants a righteous, beautiful Israelite queen and all of this bullshit BS. Don't be so quick to fall for that, because you will be stuck. The law of divorce, unless they fornicate, you cannot divorce. Sisters, you can't divorce at all. So be very wise with who you're dealing with. Lord's will, this gave you guys some edification on that law. And hopefully, you wicked niggas stop being wicked niggas. You sisters will stop letting these men put you away because y'all had an argument, or because y'all was arguing for a straight week, or whatever the case is, because you causing Israel to be full of whores. You causing Israel to continue to be defiled, and you're prolonging us getting the kingdom. You already know what it is. It's been another segment of Sound Doctrine. Quick rundown. Every first Monday, we got Bible Q&A. Every Monday after that, Los Discípulos de la Palabra. Tuesdays, Bible Basics. Wednesdays, World History According to the Bible. Thursday, second and fourth Thursday, Stick to the Script. Friday, The Blue Strip, followed by Room 144, followed by Sound Doctrine. Saturday, War for the Kingdom, followed by our closing Sabbath class with Bishop Taziah Wan. Feed the sheep. Continue to tap in, continue to tune in, continue to build your spirit up, continue to strengthen your foundation. Lord's will, there was some edification given. You guys go back and listen to the class, take the notes, so you can fully understand these laws. There's so many things in Israel that people rather focus on, all of these different prophecies and breakdowns and stuff. But the foundation that is the law, a lot of people struggle with. So go back, watch these Torah lessons, gain an understanding of the Torah, and Lord's will, it strengthens your foundation, strengthens your faith, and strengthens your understanding. This has been another segment of Sound Doctrine. Lord willing, we catch y'all tomorrow. Tap in to feed the sheep. Forgot about this last part. If you have any questions, Bible Q&A is coming up next Monday. If you have any questions, not next Monday, that's this, well, yes. This upcoming Monday is like the 24th or something like that. The week after that, Bible Q&A is coming back up. Drop your questions in our email. Reach us at truenation.org. Again, that is reach us at truenation.org. If you got any questions, send them on over there. Of course, tune into the class so you can ask questions live. If you want to get boots on the ground in your city so you can come do the works, and you want True Nation to be the vehicle that you're doing works in the name of, reach us at truenation.org. If you got questions about becoming a member, reach us at truenation.org. If you want to contribute to the ministry and the works that we do, going around raising up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, you can always hit us up and donate at truenation.org/donate. It's been another segment of Sound Doctrine. We appreciate y'all, Israel. Lord willing, we catch y'all tomorrow. Tap in, tune in, continue to feed your souls with this daily bread. We out of here. Shalom.
If it wasn't for the Most High who was on my side, man, ain't no telling where I'd be. Mr. Wilson would've known. Can't nobody tell me nothing different. The Father's been good to me. So good to me. Yeah. Wave your hands if you feel me. I'm a witness. Yahweh's been good to me. So good to me. Every morning that I rise, I thank Yahweh that I'm living. Keep my enemies at bay and never leave without my fringes. 1611 with me cause I'm on a mission. Talking sheep, I pay the cost, me and my lines really live it. I don't need no glory, you don't have to know my story. Glad I made it out this world cause it's